Hey guys, it's Renee, and I'm here to show you how I make my roses with the realistic rose die from Diamond Dies. So this is the larger die in the set. There's two dies, and they both make the same rose, just different sizes. So I'm just going to do the larger one because I think it'll be easier to see. And I'm not sure, I have a couple ready to go. I don't know how long it takes me to actually do it. I've never actually timed it, but this is what we're going to be making. So I've already colored and shaped most of the pieces. I have one. I'll show you how I color it, which is probably really simple. I'm using the Spun Sugar Distress Ink. And I like to use these little finger daubers. I think they're so much easier than the big things. So I just go around them, and no special way. Sometimes there's darker spots. Sometimes it's not covered completely. And I do the back just real quick, just to put a little bit of color on it, because in some places you can see the underside of the flower. So then for this one, I'm going to do the edges, and this is going to be worn lipstick. And I just go around the very top edge just to give it a little bit more color. So that's it for that. I think I'll go ahead and do the purple one now so I can get the color out of the way. This one's going to be milled lavender. And my roses, I do 6, so you have to cut it out 6 times to get one rose, if that's what you like. Okay, and the edges will be in Dusty Concord. Okay, so that is it for coloring them. And I don't always do the same thing. Sometimes they're a solid color. This one was done with, I don't remember if I used the ink pad or the distress markers on watercolor paper, so I didn't do the edges or anything. So the next thing I do, I use this McGill, and I don't know what it's actually called, but it's just a foam pad. And then I got these McGill, I don't know if they're stylus or I call it a ball tool, because there's balls on the ends of them. And I shaped the flowers. So I have the ones that I just colored, and then I have another one to do the center, because I do that one a little bit differently. So I start on the back. Let's see. I think this one will be my center. So all I do is start on each petal and just roll it around until it sort of makes a almost like a cupping shape, and I just do that on each one. and then I do the center, and I flip it back over and just do right in the middle to lift the petals up a little. And I do that to all of the petals, or all the cuts. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just to, I guess it probably breaks up the fibers in the paper, and just to give it a little bit of shape. So then for the centers, I do the same thing. And this one is the largest, the 8mm ball. So after I do all that to the center, I use the smaller one, the 6mm, and I go back in and do the same thing on each petal. And then just go straight down the middle to sort of give them more of a curved in sort of feel, so I can bend it easier. And I only do that on the center one. And then just go in the middle because it's going to close up that way. Okay. So, I am by no means no expert at this, and I probably do it different every time. The center is the hardest part for me. And when I got this die, I did not like it. It was too much work. It was hard. Well, now I've been working with it, and I've sort of got the hang of it for me. So it might not work for you. You might have to do your own thing. But for the center, I cut halfway in, and that's just so it will bend easier. And then I take, I might have to bend them a little more. I take 2 petals, and it all depends how it's going to go, which 2 it is. I try to do the 2 center ones like straight across from each other, and I'm going to glue the inside of this one to the, or I'm sorry, the outside of this one to the inside of this one, and then it'll be opposite on the other side. So it'll sort of make an S pattern, I guess. And I always use hot glue, and I found the trick is the less glue you use, the easier it'll be. So, I use this Shore Bond with the super fine tip. I hate this glue gun. I mean, when it's working, it's okay, but it doesn't seem to pull the glue in like it should, and if you have to start a new glue stick, it's terrible. So, we should be good. We should have enough to do these. So, I put a little tiny dab of glue right on the edge, and I do one at a time. And I just fold them over and pinch them together. And then the other side, I think I went too far with that one, so we'll just work with it. went too far. So I'm just going to pull it apart and do it again. And it'll be on the inside, so you really won't see it. So once I get the center done, and this one may be a little more open than what I like, but I just go with it and work with it. I'll start folding the other petals in, and I try to do every other one so it's not, so they overlap differently. So I think we're going to start with this one. And I just put the glue in there and fold it up. And then I'll go to the opposite petal, I think. No, we're going to do that one because it's already folded in. And there's no science. Normally I would want to do that one, but this one seems to be next, so I just do whatever it wants to do. Okay, so there is my center, and it's not as nice and flat as I normally would like it, but it is what it is. I don't want to do it again, so hopefully I can cover that up with the next ones. So when I start stacking them, I have a string, I put a dab of glue in the middle, and then I try to stagger how I glue each one on. So in between these two petals here, where this one ends and this one over here, I want to glue it on in between the center of those two. It doesn't always work out, but I just try my best to get it like that. So the points should be sort of in the center of each one of the petals. So when I started doing these, I used too much glue. So now I try to limit how much I use and where I put it. So after you use the ball tool on them and glue it on here, you'll see that whenever you fold it up, it sort of makes its own bend. And that's where I try to put the glue, just a little bit below it. Oops, and that's too much. So I put the glue, and then when I stick it up, I use my finger to make the bend. And just hold it there while it dries. And I do every other petal. It doesn't take much glue to hold them up. So there I have the first three up, and now I'll go back and do the other ones. And if I can't get it up to the center, I'll push it in as far as it'll go and I fold all of them at the same time so they keep a shape. Okay, so there's the second one. Okay, for the next one, I try to, see, this is the widest petal here, so I want to get that on a different side. I don't want to keep layering the same direction, so I'll probably go like that. And again, I put the center in between the next two and try and get it in the middle as best as possible. So it goes like that. And then I don't really have a set way I do it. I just pick the next petal and start gluing them again. So again, I did every other one, and now I'll go back and start over. Okay, there's the next one. And if I get glue like I just got on that one, I just use my piercing tool and just pull that off as best as I can. Like that. Now, I don't know if you can make these with the, I use the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive, and it does dry pretty quick. I don't know if it's quick enough for this, if you don't like to use the hot glue. I'm impatient, I don't want to wait. I want to glue it and it's dry. But I was making flowers last night and it seemed to dry pretty quick. I don't know if it would hold well enough. Might be nice. It's better than these strings that you get everywhere. Okay. And as you get further and further to the bottom, it's not as important to skip every other one because now they should just be gluing up into their spot.
Program makes it easy to stay connected to your TV, internet, and home phone when you move. Thank you. Finally, get some help moving. Your Xfinity services professionally installed with the date you choose with a 2-hour window guarantee. Or have a self-install kit sent to your new home. Call 1-855-MOVE-EDGE today. This is a Rush. Color that's vibrant. The one and only Feria by L'Oreal. Multifaceted color that transforms you. Triple highlights that shimmer from every angle. Never dull, never flat. Feria by L'Oreal. Say yes. Since the dawn of time, humankind has faced danger in its quest for prosperity and progress. From villages arise cities. From cities arise empires. And once close allies become the
Okay, and the last one.
What will your story be?
Lots of glue strings today. I'm not sure what's going on. And sometimes this one I don't even glue. I think I'll go ahead and glue this one. Sometimes it doesn't need it depending on what I'm working on. Other times I want it to have that bend like the rest of it. Okay, so that's it. Let's see where we're at. Oh man, it's already at 23 minutes, so I'm not sure. There's the one I made. I have a little bit of glue down in there. I don't know that I would mess with it. It'll probably rip the paper. But there's that one. Well, it's already longer than I wanted it to be, so I might as well just go ahead and make this one too. And I'll just run through this one real quick.
No, but I've made some progress. I found this. Sharp instrument trauma on the Zyklor process of the sun and anterior medial.
So I think the most important thing to remember when you're doing it is to do every other one as much as possible. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect all the time. Roses aren't always perfect. But the closest you can get to it looking like a real one, the better.
Okay.
So there's my center. That one looks better than the first one. Okay.
Maryland, we're in jail. Why are you in jail? Well, it goes a little like this. Hodgins got pulled over for driving like an old lady, and then Angela had an outstanding bench warrant. You have a warrant, Mr. Well, where is the evidence you collected yesterday? It's in jail with us. We're stuck here until the judge shows up to set our bail, and who knows when that's going to be. Well, we need that evidence. I'll tell Cam to come.
I'm going to try to do this second one a little tighter than the first one to hide that glue. Whoops. And I'll just glue up higher on the petals than I did the first time. Okay, so the first one, it's not as tight on the top, so I glued this one up just a little higher. Okay. So there's the first and second. I'm not sure why my glue strings are so bad today. They're everywhere. This one's definitely a little tighter than that one, so see how it turns out. once you get them cut out and colored the way you like, you can build them pretty quick once you get the hang of it. Okay, and the last one. Okay, and there it is. Nice, whoops, sorry. Minus the glue strings. So there they are, and you can see the difference. Like this one's tighter, so it's just a little smaller. But you can do different looking roses with the same die. And you don't even have to make just roses with them. I made these flowers with that die also. This is the smaller one. The smaller one is exactly the same as this one, just smaller, and it makes roses that are this big. So that is it, guys. I hope this helped someone out with using their realistic rose die. And my advice is just don't get frustrated with it and play with it until you get a system down for your roses. So if you are interested in purchasing this die, you can find it at diemonddies.com, and you can use the coupon code Thanks Renee, all one word, and receive 10% off and free shipping on all orders $35 or more. And I'll put all that down below for you. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.